All right. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another great episode of Geeks Without Borders. My name is Gift Time, a Belu, and I got the greatest crew here with me. JP, the toy man, coming out the Philippines, and I got the angry Aussie, Jason, the Bray Train Bray. I know that sounded wild, but that's how wild this man is, and we got a great review for you today as we go over Black Widow. The Marvel movie that was only 6 years too late, but it doesn't matter. It's okay.
Wasn't
it? We just here to be happy that Black Widow got a story. She got the Captain America treatment. You can't do it by yourself, but at least you're still key and basically unkillable. So, guys, before we start, I want to just go first impressions without going any spoilers. Just what your first reactions were whenever you finished watching the movie.
Off you go, JP.
I love Black Widow, but yeah, like you said, it was 6 years too late, and I just can't get over the fact that she's dead. So I can't enjoy it as much as I should, because in the back of my head, I know she's dead. So it's kind of hard to enjoy it.
Jason.
I just ran with it. As a movie, it was just good popcorn entertainment. I didn't find myself snoozing at any point or looking at the clock. So as a piece of popcorn entertainment, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, for me, it was, I was like, this was my realm. This was within the realm of Ant-Man for me, where there was nothing, it wasn't to be great, but it was just like, okay, I got you. It's nice to know at least a little bit what was going on between Civil War and Infinity War. So, I took that well. But I'm with you, JP. I was like, oh, I know she's dead, so there can't be any consequences in that aspect.
Yeah. It's a necessary story to be told. Except. It's
in the back of my mind is this Helena's story? Like, are we being introduced to Helena? Is the Black Widow just an excuse to meet Helena and maybe the Red Guardian and other characters too? You know what I mean? That was always in the back of my mind, is that, okay, we're watching this movie called Black Widow. We're going to find out about her, her other family. We know the Avengers was her family. But is this really just a platform to bring other Phase 4 characters to light? I couldn't get away from that feeling while watching it.
Yeah, and I think that was exactly it. I'm sorry, JP. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah. I'm just like,
no, I think that was exactly. I mean, I know that it was because we know that Lady Hydra was the obviously was supposed to be presented in this one before in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So you got that, but even more so, it was basically like, hey, let's answer a few questions here. Like, let's talk about Yugoslavia and. Can we just talk? What was it? Yeah, Yugoslavia, and then
Yugoslavia.
Budapest.
Was it Yugoslavia?
Budapest.
Yugoslavia is a country. Budapest is the capital of Hungary.
It used to all be together, right?
And not only that, Yugoslavia doesn't even exist anymore. It broke up in a civil bloody war.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you know what? It was
people of the Baltics. I just want to put out an apology to you right now on behalf of my friend. Anyway, what were you saying about Budapest?
About Budapest. Look. There's so much geography that goes through my head. Sometimes I get the 90s mixed in with the 2000s, countries that don't exist, old memories old scabs being broken open and just bleeding out again as a result. But we got the answers like about Budapest, and we got the answers about like what was it that she's been so guilty of that actually turned her over, and subsequently how she got the best from Infinity War. Like it was the answers that we all needed to know, but somehow,
Dracov's daughter gets mentioned by Loki, and that comes up. and that's pretty important. So yeah, it's nice to know that stuff.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even realize that Loki had talked about Dreykov's daughter in Avengers 2012 until I had to go back and look. And I need to make sure that it didn't get retrofitted in there. All right, because I don't trust with streaming now. Anything is possible. People can go in and mess with it at this point. It's the old George Lucas effect.
Oh, sure, yes, he's ruined it for everybody.
But this is the great thing about Marvel. It's like they just planned this whole thing out.
Right.
Except, Black Widow is like a chapter which is not in the proper place.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. It's a good movie. It's a great movie. Except if you look at it, if as a whole, it feels, out of place. Like
Right.
it should have been a couple of movies earlier, or a few movies earlier than when it was released.
Yeah. It's a funny one because it's when you look at the movie, and when I was coming to it, I was thinking to myself, okay, there's got to be something really, really important to justify making this movie after her death. Like, there's got to be something here that absolutely had to be shown in a big movie to justify going all that way back to see something, right? And again, I guess it has to be Helena. I guess it has to be that character.
It is.
Because there's nothing there. I thought, oh my gosh, that's just a huge bridge. I mean, there might be. We still might be, right? We might see something in the few movies. We thought, oh, that's why they showed us Black Widow. But it doesn't seem obvious to me that there's anything in Black Widow that screamed, we needed to see this.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because if you look at the cast for the Hawkeye TV series, Yelena's there. So I think Baby Sister is going to replace Big Sister as Black Widow moving forward with the MCU.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly it. But that's it goes back again. Like it's another setup. It goes back to what we've been saying. It seemed like out of place. But at the same time, I sometimes wonder, like, would it have, if they had put it before Infinity War, as it should have been, then would we have been sitting there expecting to see Yelena pop up in Infinity War trying to protect her sister?
Yeah.
And so it would have had ruined a little bit of the surrealness that Infinity War gave. Now, again, that's one of those issues that come with, making these movies late. Even with Lady Hydra, like, we would have gotten her, but like we would have been like, where were they during these events here? Yeah. So, and they would have had to close it up, whether they would have been in jail or they would have been, whatever. Like, why would you, like, if they're about to go fight Thanos's guys, like, why didn't you go to the Christina Ritz's the mother late chick?
Rachel
Rachel Wentz, yeah.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, Rachel Wentz's character. Look, I don't need accuracy in names. We're feelings over fact. You feel what I'm saying. Don't worry about the fact.
Rachel Wentz, Christine Rice, who lives in Yugoslavia.
I think the movie answers that question. The Red Room purposely did not want any involvement with Natasha or making themselves known, because they were, after all, like a shadow group, and if they that's why they didn't go after Natasha as well, because if Natasha is killed or something happens to her, another Avenger will come, probably investigate, and they could have been discovered. So that's probably why they did not interfere with Infinity War or Age of Ultron.
But that's the thing. The Red Room was basically destroyed before Infinity War. All the widows were basically unbrainwashed outside of that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it would have led to more questions. Honestly, you'd have been like, yo, why didn't you get the widows to help you over in Wakanda, or bring them in whenever you were fighting over in when you first fought the Thanos's guys, like when you were trying to just hide out? Like,
Free will.
So say what?
Free will. They were
True.
now free to choose quiet lives. Some of them
So-
are probably, traumatized by the stuff that they had to do, and they just wanted like out. They just wanted probably to be like normal people with families and boyfriends or husbands and kids.
Yo, you're supposed to stick up for your sisters, all right? You see the Dora Milaje? They come through all the time. Bang, bang, rickety
that's a
row.
high standard. That's a high standard there.
Though,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna lie,
that's a
after
high
watching the
standard,
movie,
though.
I wanted to see a Widows versus Dora Milaje. I mean, I know the Dora Milaje are legitimately mutants, and I don't care what anybody says because nobody's gonna tell me that you live in a vibranium area and you're not gonna be soaking in the power of the vibranium and deteriorating into your food source, into your dirt, into your water, into your animals, and you didn't get any power from it. Get the hell out of here with that. But that being said, I still want to see a Dora Milaje versus the Widows at some point in time. I feel like we got robbed of it because now they have free will and now they're just, girls with
that sounds like
skills.
a 1970s exploitation concept. And having said that, I'm so totally up for it as well.
Right?
I'm the first one lined up for that one. Oh yeah, baby. Having said all that, I'm totally up for to see where these characters go. Like Helena, I bought into that character. I don't think her character arc is very well developed in this film. The second time watching it,
No.
she kind of gets lost a bit in what she's trying to achieve. But having said that, she is played very well by Florence Pugh, and I love to see her again. I can't wait to see her in the Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Is that her next one? And
well, her next
yeah,
one, obviously, next one is What If, and then Hawkeye will be afterwards.
Yeah. I want to see her. Red Guardian again. I'm so wanting to see him go around again. And Rachel Weisz is
I
great.
love
'Cause,
the
she's
little
always is.
Easter egg where she mocks Red Guardian as Crimson Dynamo.
Oh, Crimson
Yeah.
Dynamo. We should call him Crimson Dynamo. But he's great. I mean, Harbour's always going to produce on that level. That's a walk in the park. That was right in his wheelhouse. Just being that funny character that thinks they're pretty good, but
He's
really
a bear.
well. Yeah. He was great.
He's a bear.
And then, of course, there is the very, very controversial Taskmaster, who's also still alive. I was going to ask you guys what you thought about that because that's got pretty mixed reactions. Most of
That was the most
actually.
disappointing revelation. Like, it wasn't even the fact of was it a girl? I don't care about that. It was just the fact that Taskmaster did nothing of note. This was the equivalent of what they did with the Flag Smashers in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, yeah, they existed, but I mean, for a person who's supposed to be, I mimic every power, I mimic every move, I'm capable of doing. I was just like, Oh, it turned out to be the daughter.
And Taskmaster in the comics is a pretty important character. He's like in Hydra. He's been in Shield. He's trained a lot of villains, and he's in a lot of major story arcs. For Taskmaster to play a smaller role in the bigger scheme of things in the MCU is pretty disappointing. I mean, they could have made him a girl, but I was hoping that the backstory of Taskmaster, could have come a bit closer to the source material instead of just making her the daughter of Red Room guys.
Yeah.
To me, Taskmaster was to this movie what the Winter Soldier was to Captain America 2.
Right.
But if you go back and look at Captain America 2, the Winter Soldier is an absolute machine. Like you are fearful of that guy.
Right.
Like he's a monster. Like you just wonder halfway through that movie, is anything going to beat the Winter Soldier? In fact, I would say that at no other point in Bucky Barnes' arc is he as incredibly scary as he was in that movie. But there's just no way that Taskmaster was scary in that movie. You didn't at any point of that movie think to yourself, how are they ever going to beat Taskmaster? Because the scenes are short, fast, to the point. Taskmaster's not brutal. You don't see him destroy a whole heap of like Navy SEALs at any point.
Right.
You don't see anything that makes you go, oh my gosh, this is going to be this guy is just crazy. And then at the end, to intercut her fight with the Red Guardian and show hardly any of that. Like if you go back and watch it, there's only very small snippets of that fight between Red Guardian and Taskmaster. That is criminal, right? That should have been one of the big fight sequences of the whole movie. Because Red Guardian,
we want to see this Red Guardian Captain America, because Red Guardian was supposed to be the Captain America counterpart. So it's like, okay, we see the man with the brutest strength. He might be out of shape, but it's like he's been talking a big game. He's been talking a big game. He's the ultimate foe of Captain America, even though he never could have fought Captain America because he was frozen, which was a great bit. But it was just like, yo, wait. So when do we get to see it? Oh, he's just an oaf. And again, Harbor is so great at playing it, but you also get like he's also good at being like the guy that ends up overwhelming you. And you're right, we never got to see Red Guardian overwhelm anybody. I didn't really see his strength except for him getting out of the prison.
Yeah. Both those characters were shortchanged in that edit. Like I'm sure we went back to the original edit. That was probably a pretty long scene. Like imagine the stuntman who played both those roles would go, what? That took me 3 days. And that's all we got. It really did shortchange both characters. We never got to see them flex. We never got to see them. And the thing with David Harbour's character, he didn't have much of an arc too, but he was a tamed lion. He was a caged lion. He was ready to burst out. And that should have been his chance to flex his muscles, show that he really was the Russian equivalent to Captain America and get stuck into this Taskmaster. And it should have been her chance to really show that she could do all these great moves. She should have done everything from Captain America to Iron Man to whatever she's been watching, right? Because we saw her watch that. And she should have showed us that this was a formidable person, just like Winter Soldier. But for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe it was time, maybe it's because they thought it was distracting from the other, plot points at that point of the film. They sold us short. I thought really big time on that.
Yeah, like the prison escape was a lot longer than Taskmaster versus Red Guardian.
Yeah.
They could have. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Like even the prison escape, I was like, okay, you guys could have cut this down and given us a little bit more in the back end, because after a while I was like, okay, I get it. Like honestly, it was the more they did the prison scene, the less believable it became. And I was like, wait, how are they taking all these shots? Wait, how have they not got a? I still don't even understand how he's been able to be contained. You got all this strength. You literally can break through everything. Nobody's stopping you. What is it that is stopping you from being able to break out at any point outside of being far from anywhere else? And you should still have some level of speed.
Yeah, probably because where he was, they were in the middle of nowhere. And that's true. He's like Captain America, and he could have just walked out of there and just he became there and walked it off. But
I agree. That scene it's when I went back and watched it was okay. I don't think it was as good as the previous ones, but it was okay. But again, I agree in that it probably didn't need to be there. I could put it more at the back end and kind of really allowed the problem with the back end of that film is that if you look at it from a character point of view, you see the big dialogue sequence between Ray Winston's character. What's his name? Jerkoff.
Red Room guy. That's why I just
I call him Jerkoff. Ray Winston was just okayish, right? He didn't have a lot to work with. He was okayish. And then you had, Jerkoff was fighting with Black Widow and arguing. But other than that, the other characters were just kind of floating around a bit, particularly Helena, and that shouldn't have been the case. Let's put it this way. Okay, let's go back to Winter Soldier, right? The big fight scene at the end, you've got basically Captain America fighting with the Winter Soldier, right? Trying to sort things out. Then on another level, you have Nick Fury going eye to eye with Alexandra Pierce, right? Who's Robert Redford. And so you've got multiple confrontations at the end there.
Right.
But this one is just this big dialogue scene between the Black Widow and jerk off, and then you've just got bits and pieces flying around everywhere, and it didn't come together as a whole.
Kind of wrap this up. Any last thoughts on Black Widow?
Black Widow, I give it, just as a straight up popcorn movie, I give it a solid 6.5 to 7. As part of the Marvel universe in context, I'll probably give it a 6, 5.5. So I'd drop it a little bit. That would be how I'd put it.
I think it maybe 6.5 buckets of popcorn. It's a good movie. I'd watch it again.
Me too.
It's not the
Right.
Yeah. I give it good marks. I give it good marks because I really like the opening credit sequence with the "Smells Like Teen Spirit."
Yeah.
I don't usually like it when they're starting to put remakes of classic songs into trailers and films. It's getting a bit cliched, but that was really good. And and the one thing we haven't talked about, which we can talk about another time, is I really like the end credit sequence, because I think it unpacks a lot for Helena, but it also talks a lot about Madam Hydra.
Yeah.
Because in the Winter Soldier, we're not sure whether she's bad or good. Well, this time she's putting a hit out on
Hawkeye,
and that means Hawkeye's got kids. He's got a wife. That makes her bad. Like that,
right.
She crosses the line there. That this character, even if she does something good, that she has a bad heart if she's going to put a hit out on our mate. And it also means that the narrative going forward in the world in Phase 4 is that Clint killed Black Widow.
You're right.
You bastards. You're going to say that Clint killed Black Widow. So it's there's a whole, it's going to talk about possibly a lot of propaganda that's going to surround the world's interpretation of the events of Endgame and Infinity War, and how it's going to be manipulated and stuff like that. So I thought it unpacked a lot more than I first realized.
Yeah, no. I will say it always constantly. This is they're setting up the seeds for the mutants. The hatred for powered people are coming in more and more and more. The multiverse through the photon powers, what happened in WandaVision, the events of the destruction of New York leading into the blip back. They're setting up people hating powered people more and more, and I've been loving it. That what they've doing, because my goodness, please give the X-Men the perfect rollout. I want that perfect rollout. They deserve it so badly. They deserve it so badly.
So Black Widow, what's your thoughts then? Give time.
For me, I have to go back and I have to compare it to what I did with Captain Marvel, because these are the two female entrances. I will say this. I feel like Marvel has shortchanged the women by creating very average films with them. And what I mean by average is that they've done nothing to innovate. Like, they give us really by the numbers on when it comes to them. Because I have to be I have to kind of keep with my same energy, because I liked Black Widow more than I liked Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But I also recognize that Captain Marvel came at a time after Infinity War. Like, that is almost an impossible level to be able to match up against.
Yeah.
So and Black Widow's come after all this time. So I didn't feel like Black Widow was ridiculously average, but it was I put it where you guys, 5.5, 6.5, give or take. And I think the connection that they did well with going into Hawkeye and Falcon and the Winter Soldier helped a little bit. And I thought the jokes were funnier. They hit a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then
Helena, I think Helena's got to take a lot of credit.
Exactly.
Helena
right. It was like they got the jokes. They underwhelmed. They did what Marvel did and underwhelmed really meaningful moments a little bit too much sometimes. But they made the jokes hit. Whereas in Captain Marvel, I don't think the jokes hit, and I feel like they never let it just it never was able to like let's really open up the character. So I don't feel like I got as much. So if I did it, it keeps it at a 5, which means I have to put Ant-Man in that also 6.5, that 6.5, 6.8 range as well. But I enjoy those. So yeah, Widow I enjoyed. It was entertaining. I would watch it I would watch it going to sleep at night. Like it would be one of those movies that I enjoy. Like I can watch it 6-7 times because if I can't sleep, I can enjoy it. And if I do fall asleep, it's good background noise.
There's no better way to fall asleep than looking at those two girls in tight outfits, kicking each other around. I couldn't have put it better myself, Gift Time. Cool,
and that is Geeks Without Borders. Thank you guys so much. JP, the toy man. No, what? Go ahead, JP.
Before we go, please click on the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you know when we have new videos out. Comment, please like, and please share.
Yes. Like, comment, share. Thank you guys very much, and cheers.